What is the proudest moment of your sexual history? Playing Scrabble with my boyfriend in my 20s. I traded a blowjob for an N and got Equinox on a triple world score. Proudest sexual moment? Maybe not. Best Scrabble score? Definitely. Well, before we got married, I'd have to say the first time my now soon-to-be ex-wife, the first time we fucked without a rubber. I never knew sex could be this awesome. Said all out of breath. Just found out yesterday she's been fucking 4 dudes since 2020 and got herpes from one she was going to divorce me for. 2009-2024. Damn, I tried. Hooked up with the smartest woman I've ever met. She gave me some dick pills and she came 10 times. I came twice. We stopped because my back couldn't take it anymore and it was 4:30 a.m. We had one more date, then she ditched me. I was living with my parents and was miles from having my shit together, so no harm no foul. Marissa, if you're out there, Godspeed and thank you for the time of my life. I met a friend of my girlfriend for the first time and her first reaction was, "So this is the one with the magic penis." Had a partner who was from another country and English was not their first language. They came out of a multi-orgasmic coma and it took me 3 minutes to get them back to English. At which point she just laughed and called me her wonderfully dirty American boy. My husband has ridiculous levels of stamina. Last year, on our 10-year anniversary, I finally achieved getting him to orgasm with just my hand and mouth. I was so fucking proud, and he was so fucking proud I ended up having a seizure from a result of his gratitude. Went on a camping trip with my girlfriend and her best friend, who was a closet lesbian. Girlfriend's car broke down on our way, and we stayed in a hotel that only had one bed. Girlfriend dropped something that fell under the bed. She went to grab it. I was admiring her booty when I looked over at her best friend and noticed she, too, was admiring the booty. We gave each other the head nod, and the rest is sweaty history. The time I first felt a girl's boob, it was like a bag of sand. Having sex with my childhood crush, a guy I had a crush on for nearly 2 decades lol. Went out drinking one night and went home, but wanted to keep drinking. Hosted if anyone wanted to come over and chill. He asked if him and his friends could come. I said yes. He came over with 3 friends. His friends were being idiots in my living room and him and I were talking in my kitchen. He ended up gently pushing me against the fridge and made extended eye contact with me. I crumbled lol. Eye contact makes me so nervous. Lol. He grabbed my hand and turned me around and led me to my bedroom and well yeah, we hooked up. It was sadly not great, but it's seriously one of my top hookups solely because of who he was lol. He then wrote me a note the next morning, "You were so gorgeous," and him and his friends left after they woke up. Butterflies just thinking about it even though the sex was bad lol. I made a girl squirt once and the next morning I woke up with a camera in my face next to her telling her friend on the other side that I made her squirt. I went home on air that day. It's always a good feeling when they tap out. Got GF to come from just penetration. Only happened once. I hooked up with a Maxim cover girl at a party where I was by far the least privileged. There were actors and actresses dressed to impress, and I was invited by a friend at 3 a.m. I was wearing track pants. When I realized that someone genuinely wanted me for who I was, instead of a means to something else. Fogged eyes, panting heavily, a sweaty wet mess with drool running down her lips, that still asked for more even after multiple orgasms already. I have never felt more accomplished than that I was making my GF ascend to heaven. This should produce all sorts of deeply thought out answers. I used to work in a big box retail space with a couple hundred people. I hooked up with a co-worker who told a lot of people I had a big dick. Personally, I don't think that's true. Anyway, ended up hooking up with a dozen women there because of it. Then moved to a different store where they also had heard and did the same thing. I met the original girl years later at the gym. She had gotten a bit overweight, ended up training with her to help motivate her for about a year, really honestly tried to help her, and she became a bodybuilder and aged her whole life. I'd like to think it was a fair trade. Probably my most recent one, where I found out I actually was very good at sex. Previous relationship was an absolute wet blanket that did nothing, could barely tell if I was even stimulating her. Wasn't sure if we both sucked at sex or what. But then that latest partner, oh, I could tell. I'm sure her neighbors could too. I helped an older twice divorced man fulfill his wish to try anal sex. None of his previous partners had let him, all it took was one night with me. I have 2. I had been recently divorced after almost 19 years. Came from a religious purity background. My marriage featured a very vanilla, dull sex life and my wife always acted like it was a chore. I was bad at it. After we divorced, I started seeing someone out of town and was invited to her place for the weekend. I'm not sure what she was expecting, but I spent a lot of time on her orally, and the response I got was amazingly encouraging. Like she wasn't sure how I would do, but high marks all around. When we got to the deed, and I slid inside her, she whispers to herself, "Oh wow, yeah," in the hottest way possible. I was informed that night, several times, that I, in fact, was fairly talented. That weekend we had sex 9 times. Other story is my current wife, who also was previously married. We were first dating after our marriages had ended. After one particularly passionate session, she out of breath and euphoric says, "Literally the best orgasm I've ever had. Good game," and high-fived me. Lol, we're married now and grateful for each other after previous partners that made us feel like shit sexually. She's equally amazing in bed, and our relationship beyond sex is the best thing ever. Never settle or think you don't deserve something wonderful.